Chapter 2 of The American Housewife. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Ruth Golding. The American Housewife by Anonymous. Chapter 2. 18. Shoulder of Lamb Grilled. The shoulder of lamb is good roasted plain, but is better cooked in the following manner. Score it in checkers about an inch long, rub it over with a little butter and the yolk of an egg. Then dip it into finely pounded bread crumbs, sprinkle on salt, pepper, and sweet herbs, roast it till of a light brown. This is good with plain gravy, but better with a sauce, made in the following manner. Take a quarter of a pint of the drippings from the meat. Mix it with the same quantity of water, set it on the fire. When it boils up, thicken it with a little flour and water mixed. Put in a tablespoonful of tomato catsup, the juice and grated rind of a lemon. Season it with salt and pepper. 19. Lamb's Fry. The heart and sweetbread are nice fried plainly, or dipped into a beaten egg and fine bread crumbs. They should be fried in lard. 20. Turkey. Take out the innards, wash both the inside and outside of the turkey. Prepare a dressing made of bread, soaked soft in cold water. The water should be drained from the bread, and the bread mashed fine. Melt a small piece of butter and mix it with the dressing, or else put in salt pork chopped fine. Season it with salt and pepper, add sweet herbs if you like. An egg in the dressing makes it cut smoother. Any kind of cooked meat is nice minced fine and mixed with the dressing. If the innards are used, they ought to be boiled very tender, as it is very difficult to cook them through while the turkey is roasting. Fill the crop and body of the turkey with the dressing, sew it up, tie up the legs and wings, rub on a little salt and butter. Roast it from 2 to 3 hours according to its size. 25 minutes to every pound is a good rule. The turkey should be roasted slowly at first and basted frequently. A little water should be put into the dripping pan when the meat is put down to roast. For a gravy to the turkey, take the liquor that the innards are boiled in, put into it a little of the turkey drippings, set it where it will boil, thicken it with a little flour and water previously mixed smooth. Season it with salt, pepper, and sweet herbs if you like. Drawn butter is used for boiled turkey. A turkey for boiling should be prepared in the same manner as one for roasting. If you wish to have it look white, tie it up in a cloth, unless you boil rice in the pot. If rice is used, put in 2/3 of a teacup. A pound or two of salt pork, boiled with the turkey, improves it. If you wish to make a soup of the liquor in which the turkey is boiled, let it remain until the next day, then skim off the fat. Heat and season it. 21. Goose. If a goose is tender under the wing, and you can break the skin easily by running the head of a pin across the breast, there is no danger of its being tough. A goose should be dressed in the same manner, and roasted the same length of time as a turkey. 22. Chickens. Chickens for roasting or boiling should have a dressing prepared like that for turkeys. Half a teacup of rice boiled with the chickens makes them look white. They will be less liable to break if the water is cold when they are put in. A little salt pork boiled with the chickens improves them. If you do not boil pork with them, they will need salt. Chickens for broiling should be split, the innards taken out, and the chicken washed inside and out. Put the bony side down on the gridiron and broil it very slowly until brown. Then turn it and brown it on the other side. About 40 minutes is required to broil a common-sized chicken. For roast chicken, boil the liver and gizzards by themselves, and use the water for gravy to the chickens. Cut the innards in slices and put them in the gravy. 23. Fricassee. The chickens should be jointed, the innards taken out, and the chickens washed. Put them in a stew pan with the skin side down. On each layer sprinkle salt and pepper. Put in 3 or 4 slices of pork, just cover them with water, and let them stew till tender. Then take them up, mix a little flour and water together, and thicken the liquor they were stewed in, add a piece of butter of the size of a hen's egg, then put the chickens back in the stew pan, and let them stew 4 or 5 minutes longer. When you have taken up the chickens, soak 2 or 3 slices of toast in the gravy, then put them in your platter, lay the chickens over the toast, and turn the gravy on them. If you wish to brown the chickens, stew them without the pork till tender, then fry the pork brown, take it up, put in the chickens, and then fry until a light brown. 24. Pigeons. Take out the innards, and stuff the pigeons with a dressing prepared like that for turkeys. Lay them in a pot with the breast side down. Turn in more than enough water to cover them. When stewed nearly tender, put in 1/4 pound of butter to every dozen of pigeons. Mix 2 or 3 teaspoonsful of flour with a little water, and stir into the gravy. If you wish to brown them, put on a heated bake pan lid an hour before they are done, or else take them up when tender, and fry them in pork fat. They are very good split open and stewed, with a dressing made and warmed up separately with a little of the gravy. Tender pigeons are good stuffed and roasted. It takes about 2 hours to cook tender pigeons, and 3 hours tough ones. Roast pigeons should be buttered when put to the fire. 25. Ducks are good stewed like pigeons, or roasted. 2 or 3 onions in the dressing of wild ducks takes out the fishy taste they are apt to have. If ducks or any other fowls are slightly injured by being kept long, dip them in weak saleratus water before cooking them. 26. Baked or roast pig. A pig for roasting or baking should be small and fat. Take out the innards, and cut off the first joint of the feet, and boil them till tender, then chop them. Prepare a dressing of bread soaked soft, the water squeezed out, and the bread mashed fine. Season it with salt, pepper, and sweet herbs, add a little butter, and fill the pig with the dressing. Rub a little butter on the outside of the pig to prevent its blistering. Bake or roast it from 2 hours and a half to 3 hours. The pan that the pig is baked in should have a little water put in it. When cooked, take out a little of the dressing and gravy from the pan, mix it with the chopped innards and feet, put in a little butter, pepper, and salt, and use this for a sauce to the pig. Expose the pig to the open air 2 or 3 minutes before it is put on the table, to make it crispy. 27. Sweetbread, liver, and heart. A very good way to cook the sweetbread is to fry 3 or 4 slices of pork till brown, then take them up and put in the sweetbread, and fry it over a moderate fire. When you have taken up the sweetbread, mix a couple of teaspoonsful of flour with a little water, and stir it into the fat. Let it boil, then turn it over the sweetbread. Another way is to parboil them, and let them get cold. Then cut them in pieces about an inch thick. Dip them in the yolk of an egg and fine bread crumbs. Sprinkle salt, pepper, and sage on them before dipping them in the egg. Fry them a light brown. Make a gravy after you have taken them up by stirring a little flour and water mixed smooth into the fat. Add spices and wine if you like. The liver and heart are good cooked in the same manner, or broiled. 28. Pressed head. Pig's head is good baked with beans, or corned and smoked. It is also nice prepared with spices in the following manner. Boil the ears, forehead, and rind (the cheek is good, but it is better corned and smoked) till the meat will almost drop from the bones. Take them up. When cold, cut the meat in strips about an inch long, warm it in a little of the liquor in which the meat was boiled, season it with salt, pepper, cloves, nutmeg, and cinnamon. Put it while hot in a strong bag, put a heavy weight upon it, and let it remain till perfectly cold. When you wish to eat it, cut it in thin slices. 29. Souse. Take pig's ears and feet, clean them thoroughly, then soak them in salt and water for several days. Boil them tender and split them, they are then good fried. If you wish to souse them when cold, turn boiling vinegar on them, spiced with peppercorns and mace. Cloves improve the taste, but it turns them a dark colour. Add a little salt. They will keep good pickled 5 or 6 weeks. Fry them in lard. 30. Tripe. After being scoured, should be soaked in salt and water 7 or 8 days, changing the water every other day. Then boil it till tender, which will take 8 or 10 hours. It is then fit for broiling, frying, or pickling. It is pickled in the same manner as souse. 31. Sausages. Chop fresh pork very fine, the lean and fat together. There should be rather more of the lean than the fat. Season it highly with salt, pepper, sage, and other sweet herbs, if you like them. A little saltpetre tends to preserve them. To tell whether they are seasoned enough, do up a little into a cake and fry it. If not seasoned enough, add more seasoning, and fill your skins, which should be previously cleaned thoroughly. A little flour mixed in with the meat tends to prevent the fat from running out when cooked. Sausage meat is good done up in small cakes and fried. In summer, when fresh pork cannot be procured, very good sausage cakes may be made of raw beef, chopped fine with salt pork, and seasoned with pepper and sage. When sausages are fried, they should not be pricked, and they will cook nicer, to have a little fat put in the frying pan with them. They should be cooked slowly. If you do not like them very fat, take them out of the pan when nearly done, and finish cooking them on a gridiron. Bologna sausages are made of equal weight each of ham, veal, and pork, chopped very fine, seasoned high, and boiled in casings till tender, then dried. 32. Ham. A ham that weighs 10 pounds should be boiled 4 or 5 hours. If very salt, the water should be changed. Before it is put on the table, take off the rind. If you wish to ornament it, put whole cloves or pepper in the form of diamonds over it. The Virginia method of curing hams, which is considered very superior, is to dissolve 2 ounces of saltpetre, 2 teaspoonsful of saleratus, in a salt pickle as strong as possible for every 16 pounds of ham. Add molasses in the proportion of a gallon to a hogshead of brine, then put in the hams, and let them remain 3 or 4 weeks. Then take them out of the brine and smoke them with the hocks downwards, to preserve the juices. They will smoke tolerably well in the course of a month, but they will be much better to remain in the smoke house 2 or 3 months. Hams cured in this manner are very fine flavoured, and will keep good a long time. 33. Tongues. Cut off the roots of the tongues. They are not good smoked, but they make nice pies. Take out the pipes and veins, boil them till tender, mince them fine, season the meat with salt, cloves, mace, and cinnamon, put in a little sugar and molasses, moisten the whole with brandy, put it in a cool place, and it will keep good several months in cold weather, and is good to make pies of at any time, with the addition of apples chopped fine, and a little butter melted. For the remainder of the tongues, make a brine in the following manner. To a gallon of cold water put a quart of rock salt, an ounce of saltpetre, quarter of a pound of sugar, and a couple of tablespoonsful of blown salt. Put in the tongues, let them remain in it a week, and then smoke them 8 or 10 days. 34. Curries. Chickens, pigeons, mutton chops, lobsters, and veal, all make good curries. If the curry dish is to be made of fowls, they should be jointed. Boil the meat till tender in just sufficient water to cover it, and add a little salt. Just before the meat is boiled enough to take up, fry 3 or 4 slices of pork till brown, take them up and put in the chickens. Let them brown, then add part of the liquor in which they were boiled, 1 or 2 teaspoonsful of curry powder, and the fried pork. Mix a teaspoonful of curry powder with a teacup of boiled rice, or a little flour and water mixed, turn it on to the curry, and let it stew a few minutes. Chapter 3.